Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford. Come right back at you here from the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, Lakers latest, the Lakers fast break, and the state of pro wrestling. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure you go ahead and give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We are the leader in covering the world of pop culture and have been doing so for over 500 weeks, straight weeks, as a matter of fact, and truly appreciate you stopping by to check us out. Make sure you go ahead and, well, again, like I said, like, share, subscribe. That 5-star review really helps us out as well. But make sure you go ahead and check us out each and every week as we cover the world of pop culture twice a week right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without a good friend indeed. And it is the guy who's been with me so many years now, doing what we do, covering the world of pop culture as only we can. It is, of course, the man behind the Plucky Gamer, the Happy Hoarder, and also Humanica Media, the guy who has Topicocalypse on the mind, as always, with some great stuff there and great shows. It is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson. What's up, man?
What is up? All right. I got a question I got to pose to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about social media for a minute, all right? So how do you think social media has created more, do you think it solved more problems or created more problems? Let me just
I
start
think
there.
it created more problems without hesitation. I'll tell you. Well, it's allowed me to link up with like you and others around the world, and has been great for that aspect of it. The negativity in recent years has outweighed the positivity, I think, as far as it's
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, so sorry, I'm going somewhere with this. The star of the Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, right? Walker
Oh yeah, I heard this
Scobie.
one.
Yeah, isn't that's nuts? So he's not going to his high school prom because these like super fan, I don't know if you call them crazy fans or super fans. I don't want to put a blanket statement on everyone, but they're making threats to the teenage girls who are like associated with him, like in at his school. Like that's absolutely crazy to me. But this is all caused by social media, right? Like we've given people the ability to stalk people, like
Mhm.
celebrities, all kinds of people. Like you can, like just an example here, like Chad, right? Chad is small fries, but like when he was doing Hyperschmidt stuff, like he was getting some really creepy like messages in his inbox. Like we have created this like I don't a problem. It's definitely a problem.
Now, it is a problem. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because this past weekend, I took my own daughter, my youngest daughter. God, I'm old. To prom, and I know how it was at the Mom Museum here in Las Vegas, and it really just fascinating place to go ahead and do it at. I thought that was kind of like, but she first told me like, okay, you're doing it where? The Mob Museum? I'm like, okay, all right, but
The Mom Museum, is that what
the
it's called?
Mob Museum, the Mob
Mom
Museum,
Museum.
Mob
Oh,
Museum,
gotcha.
yes. So, yeah, not the Mob Museum. No, those moms are going all over on the strip as far as that's concerned, but the
Yeah.
Mob Museum, yeah, that was they loved it. The kids loved it. It's a great Gatsby theme and all that. So, yeah, it was really a great time that she had, and she has memories now that she will take for the rest of her life,
That's
and
good.
to have that taken away from you
Mhm.
because people are just sick enough to go ahead and just threaten everyone. He can't even go stag. He can't
No,
even go stag because it's at that's the that just sucks, man.
it's like
I
one of
feel
those
for the
if
kid.
if I can't have you, nobody can scenarios, and that's just it's sick. It's just sick.
Yeah, it is sick indeed, and I'm just very sad to see that we're there on social media. But yeah, if you wanted to go ahead and compare, has it been good or bad? It started out as a great thing. It started as a good thing. It started as a fantastic thing, social
Yeah.
media. It allows me to connect with people again through out this entire planet, this great planet. And I've met some fantastic people through social media, including yourself. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I met you through Apple, but we've connected and stayed connected through social media. But
Yeah.
it is just in these recent years, I think what you're talking about right there is a synopsis of where we're at with social media.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, and I stand by this statement, man. I think that if social media were shut down, probably about 80% of the world's problems would be solved.
Yes, if only we could go ahead and solve our problems simply by that, or
Yeah.
find easier ways to go ahead and treat each other as human beings. But
Yep. Yep.
that's where we're at with social media and pop culture. But if you have thoughts, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. That's a drag. That's just a drag. So
No, I feel so bad for him. I mean, as someone who teaches high schoolers, like I know that that is like a pivotal moment for a lot of these kids, and to not be able to do something like that because of something like this is it's crazy, you know, and especially with your mental health is so fragile at that age too. And I mean, even though this guy probably makes a lot of money, like it's still, I'm sure he's just a kid like everybody else, you know?
yeah, he wants to do things just like everybody else his age did. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, man, it's a bummer indeed. So yes, if you have thoughts on social media, where we're at as a species, let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, I can tell you that social media has been all over the place on as far as Super Mario Galaxy movie is concerned. I know that the general consensus is that it's not quite as good as the previous installation,
Hmm.
but I can tell you right now, it's still getting pretty good numbers at the box office after a second weekend, which got them a all important under 50% drop at the weekend here domestically, $69 million. That's not too bad, my friend. The movie is now over $600 million worldwide. It is now over $300 million at domestic here in the US. So your thoughts, my friend, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, you have seen it. So what are your thoughts? Is it worse? Is it better? Is it just a nostalgia play? Is it just a reason to go buy a Nintendo Switch?
So sorry, man. I've been fighting something this past week. Okay, so you know, it's funny because I remember we were talking last week about the sort of the negativity towards this movie. And it's kind of like I said, right? Like they're stuck in between two worlds. They're trying to make a movie. It's a kids movie, you know, at the heart of it, it's a kids movie. But also they're like, oh, you know, we want to make sure we're pleasing the adult crowds too, you know, to the extent that we can. So as I'm sitting here watching it, like I enjoyed it. Like I'll be honest, like I didn't even go into the first one looking for like oh, give me a deep story full of emotional lore. I mean, it's a Mario game for, or a Mario movie, for crying out loud. Like their lore is always shaped around what they're trying to do in the game. Like there's no deep mythology to it. It's not like Zelda. You know, Zelda has a lot of things where the story's written around the lore, and Mario, the lore is written around the game. Or sorry, yeah. So anyways, I go to see this movie, and like, yeah, there are parts where it's a Super Mario movie, and then there are parts where it's a Nintendo movie, right? Is it Super Mario the movie, or is it Nintendo the movie? They gotta, you know, they were having a hard time deciding at certain parts, but at the end of it, it's still like everything wrapped up nicely, and it was more like, it was entertaining. It did what it needed to do. You know, my kids liked it. I liked it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, this movie's a 5 because it didn't grip me emotionally. That's not what it's meant to do. It's meant to entertain, and that's what it did.
And that's again, I think this movie is a little bit geared more towards kids. I get that, I understand that, and it is more of a commercial from what I'm reading and what I'm understanding for Nintendo. And that's for Nintendo, not such a bad thing. And if it still hits the $1 billion mark and only gets slightly less than what the previous installation did, and still gets that word out there for a company, as we just talked about last week, that reported by far under sales, under what they thought for the last quarter of the year with the Nintendo Switch 2. This could be the boost or the shot in the arm that they really need.
Yeah, it's because they didn't sue enough people this past year.
Hmm. Yep, yep,
But
yep.
no, I mean, like I said, Star Fox. Spoiler, sorry, Star Fox is in the movie for a good portion of the movie, but he's not the entire movie.
Well,
Like they
Glenn
did.
Powell has already spoiled that for everyone else out
Yeah.
there. So
So, I think I posed this question last week. Like, I wonder if they're gonna make like Mario Odyssey the movie, Mario 64 the movie. They this lot. This movie was they had a lot of things taken from those games. So it's Mario Galaxy the movie, and the fact that it features going from planet to planet, right? Like in Mario Galaxy, but it's a lot of the things actually taken from a lot of different Mario games. So it just kind of makes you wonder if they're piecemealing things. What are they going to do next? Because they've kind of already like are starting to spoil some of the stuff that you'd expect to find in some of these games. So I don't know. Like I said, it entertained me, and I think that that's like all it really needs to do. I really have no idea why some reviewer would sit behind a desk and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 5." Like, what are you? I don't. What are you expecting from this? It's like watching a Minions movie. Like, what do you expect? Like, if you're not giving the movie like at least a 7, like you're going in with too high of expectations. You have to think about what it's supposed to do versus like what you want it to do.
well, again, I just have said before when it comes to this movie, it's a movie that again it's more of a nostalgia play and it is more of a commercial for Nintendo, but
It succeeds in that area.
and if it does, then more power to it. And as it continues to be successful, and it already did have a less than 50% drop, which blockbuster movies strive for in the second week of release, then that's a good sign for this movie that it does have enough health. Whether or not it gets to a billion, I don't know. It's going to have to squeeze out another 380 billion, but I can't see it getting to over 900 million, and that ain't too bad. That ain't too bad to get the kicks. It's kicking off a hopefully a much better year than what we've seen last year. Right now, we are ahead of pace as far as 2025 is concerned. So right now, the movies are doing a little bit better. The movie industry and the theater industry as we go into Comic Con and no, excuse me, CinemaCon this week. Got the two got the two places, my two bucket list places mixed up there for a second. CinemaCon is this week in Las Vegas as well. That is something to look forward to because then you get all the little sneak peeks and things of that nature from the theater owner's perspective. As we go into CinemaCon, the theater industry looks a little less panicky than they did last year.
Yeah, that is for sure. And as for Mario's like time in the box office, like I honestly like look at we're we're about a month away from summer, so if they can refrain from putting it onto digital, like I think it could easily reach $800 million.
Well, I think that would be easy for it to do because it just has about 180 million to get there. Whether
Yeah.
or not it gets to a billion, we'll have to wait and see. If it does, then it'll reach similar heights of what the first movie did. And I think that would be a big success for Universal, Illumination, and also the folks at Nintendo indeed. But if you have thoughts out there on what's going on with Super Mario Galaxy movie, is it a good movie? It is, is it a good as movie as was the previous installment? Did you enjoy it as much as the previous installment? Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's still so much more to talk about and rapid fire and go through as only we can right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. I did want to ask your thoughts on this when it comes to some of the video games that are out there. The big story I think that's going around is the success or lack thereof for the start of Bungie's Marathon, which is the extraction shooter they released last month. Word has it throughout the daisy chain, if you believe all the rumors and speculation and what analysts are saying, as far as media analysts are talking about, that Marathon may have grossed under 1.5 million units in its first month of sale and release overall. and that is a great possibility. That is not a good sign for a game as large as Marathon. The player count on Steam is not all that high. It seems to right what 25,000, 50,000 concurrent users for a game of this size, a game of this I guess the fact is that it's all one of the newest games out there and also one of the biggest budgeted games out there, my friend. That's not a great sign for this extraction shooter.
No, but I honestly, man, I think it goes back to what we keep talking about is the fact that no people aren't interested in these games now. Like there's two, I mean, they are, but they're not interested in leaving behind the ones that they're already playing. Like they're then people don't want to leave Fortnite for Marathon. People don't want to leave um what Apex Legends for Marathon. Like this is not the market is oversaturated for these types of games. And I think it's time that we people stop trying to make new ones because look at they keep failing time after time they fail.
Well, I mean, they had, of course, everybody jumped on after the success of Fortnite, similar games in that realm with the battle royale shooter, and that
How many of
obviously
them are still around though? Like that's the big question.
exactly. And seeing the success of Arc Raiders and some of the other games of its ilk, the extraction shooter seems to be the hot thing people want to go ahead and get into. But I can tell you right now that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. I think it's a very limited space. Not everybody seems to like the extraction. Some people call it distraction shooter, but the
Mhm.
fact that in the case of Marathon, I also think the skill level needed to enjoy this game thoroughly is also it's a non-starter for a lot of people because this game is very difficult to play, my friend. And if the skill level in a lot of these games are really hard and the level to approach to play is that high, I think people right now don't have enough patience. A lot of people don't have enough patience to go ahead and see it through.
That's fun. It's funny you bring that up because we a common thing that we talk about is like how do you get the next generation of gamers interested in like console video games, right? Or even some of these bigger PC titles because a lot of kids are playing the free to play stuff. So, a good place to do it is to play a game that is like accessible, and I don't mean accessible as in like um what like special button layouts for accessible for like if you're handicapped, I mean like accessible, like make it easy for people to play to get into. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
we have I've really like admired the strives that Sony's made because they have story mode on their games. Like, hey, if you don't want to play something that's like super difficult, you just want the story and like a very low level combat experience, you could play story mode. And then if you want to go back, you could play like normal, hard, extreme or whatever. But yeah, if you're trying to make a game that is there's I'm sorry, what I'm trying to say, there's not really like a lot of place for these incredibly difficult games anymore, especially if you're trying to get people to play that haven't played it before. We're
I
trying to
agree with
get
you.
yeah, we're trying to get kids like interested in video games on consoles, but they're not going to want to play them if they're too difficult to play.
And with that though, if there's still going to be a problem with the level of entry for a lot of people, like for me, I have no time for it. I have no care for
Yeah,
a
and
game that
same.
that yeah, I just don't have any time to go ahead or patience at this age of my life to get
Yeah.
into something that I'm going to be frustrated at until I get it. And it's like there's stick with it. But if I have to stick with something in order to get it, in order to enjoy it, that's something I don't want to get into in the first place. I'm just going
Yeah.
to leave it at that.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, I mean, and we're above our 30s now, right? Or not 30s, but we're above 30 now. So like our time is a lot more limited and when it comes because we have families and all that. So our time is limited. So why are we going to sit there and play a game that's going to frustrate the hell out of us?
Absolutely. So the question I have for you now is again, this is a huge venture for Sony and Bungie. Sony spent over $3 billion in acquiring Bungie, and with Destiny 2 and with this game have not reaped the rewards on that. So it's not a bad game at all. It's rated pretty good, pretty decent as far as it's concerned. So it's not a fact that I think that the studio is sub quality. Obviously, they've created some of the most iconic games of all time. Bungie has, at least that studio has. But the problem is, it's what they're working on and what they're asked to work on. I think is the part of the problem here. And instead of going ahead and creating a game that will reignite people's love for Bungie, that I think that would be on the level of what they had with Halo, they're asked or they're tasked to do things in genres that I think are not as popular or has faded in popularity over the course of time. And with that, though, I ask you right now, my friend, what's the future for Bungie if that's the case? Because I don't see a happy ending at this rate. We talk about Mass Effect, which we'll talk about here in a little bit too. I forgot to mention the Mass Effect TV show on our list as well. So I wanted to ask your thoughts as far as what's going on with Bungie. Is there a good future in store?
Okay, so here's what I would do, right? I'm sorry, who's in charge of PlayStation right now? I can't remember the name.
As far as the head of place, I forgot his name. I know who. Yeah, I'll get you it in a second. Go ahead, my friend.
Um,
It is.
Hideki Nishino.
Well, that's not, but the American
Yeah,
leaders, yes.
Herman Holst.
Yes, Holst. He comes from a background as far as the video games, as far as he was creator of or what he was heavily involved in some of the games as far as that's concerned that's made PlayStation successful today as far as it's concerned.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean,
so here's what I do, right? If I'm Herman Holst, I sit down with
he's
Bungie.
Guerrilla Games. He
So he knows what the industry is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would sit down with Bungie and I would say, hey, like I love that you guys are trying to do some of these things, but you need to make me another Halo. Like make me something like Halo. Not I'm sorry, I don't want a Halo knockoff, but like make something that was like what you did with Halo. Like that's what you're known for. Sit down, make me a story-driven science fiction game that has, beautiful music and rich lore and something that you can break off. You don't have to play online. Make me a single player with a good multiplayer experience. I guess basically make me a Halo. Make me another Halo, but don't make me a Halo. Does that make sense?
Yes, I would love to see them get into a first-person shooter with just a basic single player or co-op story, and I think that would really get them back into swing of things. But I don't know if they'll be allowed to do that because of the lack of success for Marathon, my friend. But we'll have to wait and see. But if you have thoughts on Marathon and Bungie's future success, please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. But there are more video game talks coming up right here, including Pokemon Champions, my friend, which just came out. It's not I guess, Nintendo Switch 2, I guess, game that I think everybody's looking for as far as in the realm of Pokemon, but it seems to be a nice little stopgap. It came out last week, my friend. Have you had a chance to go ahead and delve into Pokemon Champions, knowing that the Pokemon, and they could put like Pokemon bathtub and it will sell right now with Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely.
Your thoughts, my friend, on Pokemon Champions?
Okay, so I have not had a chance to play it. I saw it on the Switch Marketplace the other night. I started to download and I got too tired to experiment with it. But yeah, I mean it's kind of look I guess more or less like Pokemon Unite, where you're kind of it's like a 2v2 or you can do 4v4 or whatever. But yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit down and play. I don't really have any thoughts on it one way or the other, but it's just interesting how Pokemon's trying really hard to break outside of that like typical mainline formula that they have. I mean, you can see too with how they did Arceus and Pokemon Za. But yeah, they're just trying to get like all over the market there. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's sounds like it's a good idea. Could be cool. but from what I'm reading, people seem to like it so far. So good for them.
Well, the thing is with Pokemon Champions, it's not. I mean, because it's a mobile game, because it's on Nintendo Switch 2, things like that. It's not meant to be the next evolution or next step in Pokemon gaming. It's supposed to be as far as, like a Pokemon XY or a Pokemon Violet or Pokemon Red and Blue or anything like that. It's supposed to be something that people can go and utilize as far as the game in the lifestyle of Pokemon, and hopefully be just deep enough to keep you invested in Pokemon until I guess a full-fledged console Nintendo Switch 2 version of Pokemon comes out.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's there. I think I feel like they're trying to get like into the esports space, and they started to do that again with like Pokemon Unite. But I honestly, like, I think they're doing a great job of marketing themselves because they're trying to hit like all bridges of gaming. I guess the only one they haven't quite gotten into is the first person shooter. I'm not sure how they would do that, but it's definitely clever to you hit every corner of gaming and you're bound to hit fans that you haven't hit before. So that's cool.
Again, it seems to have gotten some initial success, and I look forward to seeing more of what we're going to be able to see with Pokemon Champions. Again, as a side game to keep people satiated with the craze that's going on with Pokemon, I didn't think it was a bad idea at all to go ahead and
No,
slap that
no.
out there for mobile users and Nintendo Switch 2 owners.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can't. What's the worst that could happen?
What is the worst that could happen indeed? But it is, of course, Pokemon Champions. If you have thoughts on Pokemon Champions and if you are playing Pokemon Champions, please let us know how good you think it is by going ahead and reaching out to us, of course, at popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Pokemon Champions and if it's going to be a game that you're going to stick with for a while, or it seems like the game a type of game that you can go back to for a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And those are the type of games, my friend, that when you have that on your mobile or when you have that on your Nintendo Switch 2 or a Nintendo Switch, that it seems like it could be a game that people will stick with for a long time to come. It seems like it'll be an under the radar success for Game Freak and Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny is that like Pokemon has room for error, right? Like they can make the world's sloppiest game and people will still go back and play it because it's Pokemon. Like that it's the one franchise in the world that I know of that you can purposely disappoint people and you will not lose their fandom.
So let us know your thoughts. Do you think Pokemon Champions is going to be a hit, a success? I think it is, just by the sheer fact that it has that name. But let us know your thoughts on as far as what you think Pokemon Champions will do out there in the world. But if you have been playing it and you've been enjoying it, please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. But my friend, there's still much more to talk about on today's show. It is, of course, Josh the Great Peterson, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate you being a part of what we're doing here as we get closer to the half-hour mark. I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about uh the games of the week before we get into Mass Effect. Forgot to put in Mass Effect because there's something I want to talk to you about with Mass Effect. But the
Yeah,
games of the week, as far as this is a pretty good week. This is actually, you could say, as far as depth wise, probably the best week of release for video games this year, my friend. With I'm going to just touch on three. There are several games coming out. In fact, there's always several games coming out each and every week of smaller, various sizes and whatnot, but or larger AAA games. But today seems to be, or this week seems to be a week where there's a lot of good AA games, either high level indies or in this case, also a well known company releasing a not so well known game. But I want to hear your thoughts on that. You've mentioned it in the past, so I want to go ahead and hear your thoughts on that. But first off, I want to go ahead and talk about Mouse PI for Hire that comes out this week. It's been a little bit delayed, so along with the next game I'm going to talk about, but it's finally coming out. It is a first person actioneer made in the style of Steamboat Willie, if you will. In fact, Steamboat Willie is actually referenced, in which they can do now these days, but it's made in the old Disney 1930s black and white style of cartoon making. Your thoughts, my friend? It incorporates 2 and 3D gaming as far as it's concerned. With the way it's designed, it's gotten a lot of eye pops and a lot of head turns because of it. It reminds a lot of people as far as the style of gaming, as far as first person shooters, actioneers, of the like, and it seems to have a lot of creativeness to it within that realm. Your thoughts, my friend, on Mouse PI for Hire as it hits consoles and PC this week?
It's funny. I look at this game and I think to myself, man, that is probably going to be a very difficult game.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because look at Cuphead. Like Cuphead was fun, but Cuphead was insanely difficult. And I look at this, and I know that it's heavily inspired by Cuphead after reading about it. And my thoughts are, man, this is probably going to be a very difficult game. It'll be fun, but it's probably going to be really hard.
It may be hard. I can see level. It's very fast action. It's a very twitchy game shooter. It's a very twitchy shooter game, my friend, and I think that it does have an appeal to a lot of people. It does have a really good voice cast headed up by Troy Baker, so that's not anything to be sneezing at right there. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if we can get a really good game out of this. But again, with this is a game from a independent studio that has really done a lot of detailed and great work. Do you see it as something that could be a breakout hit for this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at nobody expected Cuphead to do as well as it did, and look at how well that one did. So I think that this will definitely it will garner some fans and people will talk about it. And it's going to be one of those games that I feel like will probably review really well. So yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on the edge of my seat to see what people are going to end up saying about it.
I am too, because again, this could be a game that even though it does, like you're saying, maybe it'll be a little bit harder for a lot of people. This seems to be a game that I might have the patience to go ahead and play, as opposed to a marathon where I'm going to get killed over and over and over and have all my loot taken away from me over and over again. This
Uh,
seems to be more of a narrative driven game I might want to go through, my friend.
yeah, yeah, I agree, man. It looks like it could be cool, and you gotta love the innovativeness of some of these developers doing stuff like this because definitely high risk, high reward situation when you're doing something outside the norm.
Well, we will wait and see exactly how well it will do and how well it will review, but it is coming out this week, so you want to go ahead and check it out. The other game I wanted to mention of its like from another independent studio that I guess you could say this is a high-end release on independent studios is an Xbox, and I guess is it a PC exclusive? It's Xbox and PC, I think, exclusive, or is it just Xbox with Replaced, a side scrolling 2.5D adventure made in the realm of the cyberpunk world of Blade Runner, very Blade Runner-esque. It's a neo-apocalyptic adventure that has been very stunning to look at, my friend, and been very impressive to see indeed.
Yeah, I don't really actually think I know too much about this one. Hold on.
This one has had a lot of hype to it. I know that it's been a part of the Xbox showcases, and with that, it has garnered a lot of attention. But the delayed and it's a PC and Xbox exclusive now. No PlayStation 5 as of yet, but it is a 2.5D futuristic action platform set in an alternate 1980s America. I do want to hear your thoughts on it because it does have that really stylistic look that I think a lot of people look for when they're trying to go ahead and get into one of these 2.5D games. Similar to what we saw with the Terminator, the fake Terminator game that came out late last year. It has a different style and different feel than most 2.5D type games that come out these days.
It's very pretty. I mean, look at the way the backgrounds are rendered in this
Hmm.
game. Like you see the reflection on the water. You see the just the every detail pops in this. It's really cool, and it kind of gives me like Streets of Rage vibes a little bit, maybe mixed with like Cyberpunk. So, um, yeah, definitely something I want to check out. I mean, like I said, I hadn't seen a lot of stuff for this, but I mean, I haven't watched a lot of the Xbox partner stuff. So, it looks really cool, man. It looks unique, and I guess in order to, there's so many games coming out in this like type of platforming genre that you have to have something that stands out, and this definitely stands out to me.
It does. It's very pretty to look at, and I do think it's a success for Xbox to go ahead and pick this up as a console exclusive for now. How long it stays exclusive, I'm not sure, but it does have that window right now. So if you want to go ahead and get it, I believe it is a Game Pass game. So go ahead and check it out. It is replaced, which is going to be available this week for gamers out there on PC and Xbox as well. So yes, looking very interesting indeed. And the last game I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about is from Capcom, your friends of mine, coming off the success of Resident Evil, my friend, which has done really, really well. Resident Evil Requiem. They are delving into something a little bit different. This has a lot of vibes for me as far as is concerned. Very strange vibes indeed. But Pragmata is a game I think that you have talked about in the past as well from Capcom. It does have a very different feel as far as that's concerned. So, your thoughts, my friend, as far as Pragmata and what you hope for will be the success for this game, because it is coming out on Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation, and seems to be a game that a lot of people are looking at as well.
Hey, you know what's funny with like Capcom games is that every time they have like a new property come out that looks interesting,
Mhm.
I'm really hopeful for the game. I'm hopeful it's going to be good. But more often than not, it's not. You know, and that's with like Lost Planet was a good example of that. Like I was so excited to play that game when it came out, and then it ended up just like not being as repetitive and frustrating and just a lot of things. And so I'm really like, this game Pragmata looks really cool, but I'm really hoping that it's actually good. You know, and it's hard to look at something and be like, yeah, that's going to be really good when it's made by Capcom. You know, it's one of those things where you have to play it and confirm for yourself that it's good before you like start getting people stoked on it.
It has a very Kojima like vibe to it, when I
Yeah.
watch it and when I play it, or well, not when I play it, but when I see it, as far as it's concerned, when I see gameplay footage of it, it has very Kojima-esque type approach to it. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, no, definitely not. But I mean, it's like Kojima's all about the storytelling, so we have to see if it has good storytelling. It's got a good premise, like it has a lot of potential there, but hopefully it ends up being good.
Yeah, and that's the worry, is if it's too weird for its own good, and that will be the problem indeed. But it's a upcoming action adventure game developed by Capcom. It's set on a lunar research station. The game follows Hugh and android Diana as they work together to fight the hostile AI controlling the station and their wish to return to Earth. So that's the synopsis of it. Again, it does have a very different type feel than a lot of games out there for this third person actioneer. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing how well it is received, and if it is something that people will get into as far as concerned. But it's hitting all the consoles. It's hitting PC. It's hitting Switch 2, PlayStation, and Xbox. So if you have thoughts on Pragmata, we would love to hear your thoughts on it, and if this game going to be something that you're going to pick up and get into, or are you going to be like us and wait for the thoughts and reviews of Pragmata? Please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's still a few more subjects to tackle, and in the world of video games, it kind of like video games, it's going to be a transition from video games to television. So I would like to use my old friend Mass Effect, and I've told you for years I've really wanted a Mass Effect TV show to happen or a Mass Effect movie to happen. And I got my wish last year, Josh, when Amazon picked up the rights to Mass Effect to look at it, at least a first look as far as it's concerned. So we've gotten a little bit of an update, and I'm not sure it's the update you want to hear or I want to hear, my friend, but it hasn't been picked up as a series as of yet, but it is close to doing so.
Wait, what do you mean picked up? I thought Amazon had it.
Well, Amazon has the rights to it, but it is still in the writing stage. But before they put money to it as far as production is concerned, they have asked at least some higher ups at Amazon MGM have asked for a rewrite
Oh, okay.
of the series as far as it's concerned because they wanted to appeal more to non-gamers, which is the directive of that. They want it more appealing to non-gamers, which I guess I can see their reasoning because I mean Fallout is not a 100% true adaptation of the Fallout series. If it was, I think it would be, and if it was more geared towards gamers, it may not be as approachable to regular audiences. So, as much as I would love to tell you that copy and pasting probably would be the best avenue for Mass Effect, just you take the story and put it there. Maybe getting into too much of the lore might be the issue with that. I don't know. Exactly what was meant or what was alluded to when was said or when it was alluded to that this is too much for gamers and not for non-gamers. Your thoughts, my friend, on a possible writing change or complete shift in the Mass Effect TV series?
It's funny. So with story-driven video games, right? None of us really have, unless it's part of a franchise, Resident Evil, whatever. None of us really have any idea what the game is about until we sit there and play it. So I imagine when adapting something like this is kind of going to be the same principle, right? Like, yeah, you have people who know the games, just like you have people who know the Fallout games, but you're not going to know what these games are about until you sit down and play them. And I imagine it's the same thing with the show. Like it doesn't matter if it's appealing to video game audiences because video game audiences had no idea what the story was too until they engaged with the content. So, um, unless it's one of those things where they're literally just like dropping Easter eggs the whole time, like it's hard to say, right? It, like Mass Effect is such a massive and I want to say enveloping, right? Because it pulls you into that world. It's one of those properties where, yeah, you do have to be really careful, but like appealing, what does that mean if you appeal to both the video game fans and the non-video game fans? Are you dumbing it down? Like that's a really mysterious statement. I understand it, but also I don't.
Because if you go too far in a different direction, you get away from a great blend for gamers and non-gamers in Fallout, and you go into a different direction. I'll throw it out there. Gonna get a shudder down my spine when I say it. Halo, and that failure of a series because it went too far away from what the source material is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Halo. Yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about two things on the show. We don't talk about Bruno and we don't talk about Halo, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's tough, man. That's really tough because yeah, you we want a story, right? But I mean think about it like this though, like Star Trek, right? Star Trek is a beloved science fiction franchise and people have been able to follow that story for what the past 40 plus years. So I mean, I don't think audiences are too dumb to follow like a complicated science fiction story, especially if
But
people.
staying adapted, staying interested in it as we've seen, because the Star Trek IP is not as valuable as it once was, my friend, because it has fallen on hard times or harder times as of late.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so maybe not the best example, but like Dune, for example, right? That is a completely convoluted story, right? It's good, but it has its head up its own butt even at like the best of times. Mass Effect is not as complicated as Dune, but more complicated than Star Trek.
You're
So
talking about the book series, not the movie series, not the
both.
movie
I
series.
think both, man. I think both of
Really?
them are like, yeah, I'm that's not to say that they're not good, but like the story is so incredibly complicated in both the book and the movie. And
Mhm.
Mass Effect is not at that level. So I feel like people could follow it because the story is already pretty simple. It's not simple, but it's as far as like the narrative goes, like it's not the background lore is not as insanely complicated as Dune is. So I don't understand, man. I feel like people would have an easy time following unless they're not adapting the the shepherd story. They're adapting something else, in which case then yeah, I guess you have to be careful what you're doing.
Well, we'll see what happens, my friend. But with Mass Effect, the TV show, it is something where I'm hoping hoping I won't crap on it. I really hoping I won't crap on it. You and I, you know me. I have done this show for 10 years and close to it, and I have pretty much every year of it said what I wanted out of a TV show, a video game adaptation, and Mass Effect was number one on my list, ahead of Uncharted, ahead of others, entities out there. And this is what I want is a good Mass Effect TV show. More than anything, I'm hoping that they don't ruin it. I'm hoping that they don't mess it up. No more side stories, no more asteroid subway cars, and no more side stories I'm not interested in, have nothing to do with the lore of what's going on. I don't want any of that. I just want good storytelling. And with Mass Effect, it's already right there. I understand if you go too deep into the lore of the Prometheans and all that, I get it. It's going to lose people. I have a feeling if the more you try to go into the Prometheans and all that, I can see it being an issue. But as far as everything else and setting up everything else in the world and the basic structure of the story, I think it's really damn good what is there already.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, and this is one of those games too, like what to to quote our good friend Eminem, right? You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, right? Because you only get one opportunity to make this thing, and if it fails, that's it, man. And this is something people have been clamoring for. And Mass Effect is already on the knife's edge. Like the entire franchise is on the knife's edge. Like this having the either the next game or this show be bad could completely ruin Mass Effect. Like it could just be the hatchet be buried, you know?
We'll see what happens, though. It is the Mass Effect TV show. It's still not yet been kicked off or approved for financing, but it's in a writing stage. I don't know if it's going to be a major rewrite being done, but it is a show now that's supposed to be geared towards non-gamers and gamers alike. So, what are your thoughts? Are you okay with the direction, or are you very worried, like I am, about what direction it is for the Mass Effect TV show from Amazon? Please let me know, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But my friend, getting into TV, Artemis 2. They just landed safely. Great. That's awesome news. They had their trip around the moon. And I never thought I would say that in my lifetime, trip around the moon, but they did. They made it, but it seems to have sparked a new interest into the world of space exploration and space travel. And then there's the show already with Apple TV called For All Mankind in season 5 that just conveniently timingly came out with their season 5 recent episodes. In fact, the major character on the series aged down, and because it's been portrayed as it started off with the Russians had reached the moon before the United States and evolving into entire alternate history therein, and now they're on Mars and all that. But the major character, Joel Kinnaman's character, spoilers out there, has aged out, and I mean aged out, and him just aging out because he's too old. So as far as is concerned, so his character I think is pretty much died off and only going to be able to be seen in flashbacks and whatnot. But your thoughts, my friend, on For All Mankind, and if Apple TV can capitalize on this newfound love for space exploration with what happened with Artemis 2 last week.
I didn't even know this was a show, right? I got to get back. I keep anytime I'm looking for stuff to watch, I never think to go like, oh, Apple TV has some stuff on there. I think the last thing I
Got some
watched
great
there
stuff
was
on there.
you what?
They've got some great stuff on there.
Oh, I know, but I was just like I forget about it, because it's not like I got Netflix and Disney Plus in the rotation, and I just forget to go to Apple. But so okay, so does this show have? Does it have? Would you say it's science fiction? Does it have like aliens and stuff in it?
No, no, it doesn't have that. It's just basically man versus man as far as that type of conflict, but on Mars and also back on Earth as far as the different things that are going on, espionage behind the scenes, countries against each other, but it's different alliances that you would normally expect.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds fascinating, especially since like the idea of going to Mars, right, is seems like such a far off concept to us because
And corporations are a big deal in this as well.
there and this is what we knew would happen, right? This is what Ridley Scott and James Cameron have been predicting, and the Alien and Avatar movies. Like, yeah, it's about national pride at first, but then yeah, it definitely becomes something where corporations get up there and start mining resources and things like that. And that's, I guess, that if we ever get to that point as a country, that's probably what's going to end up happening. Is not a like a privatization of space, I guess you would call it, right?
Mhm.
But
We're
yeah,
already seeing a
definitely.
little bit of already as far as both Elon Musk and as far as Jeff Bezos and what they're doing for space exploration, or at least space free rides right now, or space fun rides right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, we're a capitalist society, man, and that's what definitely is something that would most likely happen. But yeah, I mean, I'll check it out. I'm fascinated, man. I want because I like there's not a lot of good science fiction stuff out there. Not a lot of good space stories out there. We're starting to see a small like renaissance in that genre of show and movie, but there's still not a lot of it out there. So it's nice to see new stuff coming out.
So if you have thoughts on For All Mankind, and if you're interested more now because of what happened with Artemis 2, please let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Before we head it out, before we head to your MCU review of this week, my friend, Coachella, the music festival is now on. The first weekend is down. There's one more weekend left. I know that the major headliners, as far as Justin Bieber and Sabrina Carpenter, have really dominated the headlines. There's a lot of great acts. Devo is and as
Oh,
yes, Suicidal Tendencies were big nostalgia hits for me that they were able to perform. But there's a ton of Cat's Eye. They had Huntrix there performing with Cat's Eye, just a lot of great different variations of bands on all the different stages that you can catch right now on YouTube. But the big controversy is the elaborate productions and the effort, although Sabrina Carpenter did apologize for a remark that was made because she misunderstood a fan's appreciation and took it the wrong way, and it blew up as far as that's concerned. But the also the controversy as far as what she did and how she approached it with a big elaborate production, as opposed to Justin Bieber, who the next night approached it from pretty much dressed like how you and I are dressed like right now, and just went at it as far as low key as you could. So your thoughts, my friend? People are even equating it to a sexism issue, but if you can, in just a minute or so, tell me your thoughts on maybe the disparity as far as someone approaching their end of the concert to what someone else approached it and how they did it.
but I mean, isn't that like what Coachella has always been about? Though, is like people expressing themselves how they will. Because I
That's
mean,
true.
even down to like the concert goers, like everyone has, that's a big like cliche, right? It's like, oh, what outfits are you wearing to Coachella or whatever? Like, I think that if Justin Bieber doesn't want to get out there with like glittery pants that shoot fireworks out, like that's his business, like he's still performing. If he gave a bad performance, like that'd be a whole other
That's what I think
conversation.
they're also alluding to as well. Some people have said it in lazy and it wasn't up to his par.
But I mean, look at him now, though. I mean, that's just he's not that version of Justin Bieber anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe this is the concert organizer's fault for recruiting him, knowing what stage of his life that he's in. I
He's
don't
over
know,
the
man.
hill at 32, man. It's all over for him.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe not all over, but he's just
I'm
not in
kidding.
a phase where, but he's just not in a phase where he wants to like put effort into anything. And we see that in the way that he's even portrayed like in the media right now. So like what, I don't know, like is the fault with Bieber or is the fault with the organizers of the festival?
Well, despite the higher ticket prices and whatnot, like everything else in the world right now, it still seems to be garnering great success. I've had a great time watching it, and it always is a great watch. But Coachella will be available next weekend in its entirety. So if you want to catch it, go ahead and head on over to YouTube, catch what happened the first weekend. But the major artists that you see there will also be back. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, it is going to be on YouTube as well. But my friend, before we head on out, it is the MCU review for this week and where we headed to with the MCU.
Okay, hold on. One last thought on Coachella. Like I'm impressed by how they're diversifying their music a lot.
Oh, I love that part. That's the best part about it, from
Yeah,
all over the spectrum. I love that fact.
it used to all just be like EDM music and rappers and things like that. So wait, Coach. Sorry, that was Singing Stagecoach. Yeah, they're putting like actual like bands and stuff in there, which is pretty cool. But sorry, yeah, okay. So we are with the MCU review. We are at the Wolverine. That's where we landed, man. Wolverine, the one in Japan. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
The Wolverine, the one in Japan.
Or he goes back to fight the Silver Samurai.
It's the Wolverine, the one in Japan. I think it's pretty much all I'll say about it because it's a movie. Yeah, I think this is where it went off the rails and where Fox really went. This is the area, this is the stage, this is the years when Fox really started to just, let's attach anything to X-Men and let's just put it out there, no matter what kind of quality it was. And I'll leave it at that.
You know what's interesting is like I'm torn on this one. So up until this point, they had made really bad. It's just been one terrible X-Men movie after another. Right? We had what was it? X-Men Origins Wolverine. We had X-Men 3, which was awful, an awful film. Then we had what else? What else we had? We had X-Men First Class was all right, and then Days of Future Past hadn't come out yet. But like this was the first like actual sequel to the original X-Men trilogy. And I think because the other ones had been so bad, I sat down and watched this one. I was like, this is a pretty good movie. But I think it's just because the bar was so low. Like I watch it now and it's entertaining. It definitely is entertaining, but it's not as good as I like remember it being watching it the first time.
Well, it is a movie and it is I didn't care for it. I'm sorry. I wanted to really like it. I really wanted to like it because Wolverine in the setting of Japan is just, that the concept was so intriguing to me and so much as far as what I wanted to go ahead and see out of the Wolverine, and it just did not get the job done.
Didn't deliver.
Yeah, it did not deliver at all. But getting the last thing about Coachella, before we head on out, my friend, I agree with you. It is probably now my favorite concert type deal. And my wife and daughter just saw Bruno Mars and they had a blast. But that's just one artist. And if you give me a choice, I would rather go to a Coachella where you're seeing dozens and dozens of artists on different stages, over the course of the weekend period. And I am just floored by the amount of artists and how still as special of a thing Coachella is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it's I know it has its cliches and the type of concert goers. There's a lot of meme culture around that stuff, but still like it has become very diverse, and you gotta really admire their ability to market and evolve. I mean, that's of all the music festivals that are out there right now, I think Coachella is probably the biggest, and that it's not without reason.
Absolutely, indeed. But where could you go to go see a concert with Sabrina Carpenter and then also Devo and Cat's Eye, seeing the best of all from country, rap, K-pop, classic, and just so many cross ventures, pop, and everything else. So go ahead and check it out today on YouTube.
Yep.
So for Josh the Great Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the pop culture cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.